do this.
Hey, Sheetha, got any pie?
Hello.
Hey, Sheetha, got any pie? Bring me some pie.
The place slightly resembles an insane asylum.
Well, all you need to start an asylum is an empty room and the right kind of people.
It's the kitchen sink.
Prepare to be astonished.
Kitchen sink. Kitchen sink.
Everything.
The kitchen sink.
Are we here?
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Is there anything happening?
I
Don't know.
don't know. Seems like we should be on, right? Hello? So, we will be adding Doc and Red later. I am Gear, that is Bad.
Hello.
And this is the kitchen sink. We have had one show under our belt on the YouTubes, and this is our second one, so we're still getting accustomed to everything. And we are gonna, by the way, I just want to kind of give you an idea of what we plan on doing with the channel. We want to really expand this channel and have content from all of our contributors individually, as well as other folks too. I'm trying to post a link to our live stream here. We've got somebody talking. What's going on there?
They're muted.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, is that Red?
What the heck?
This is.
How you doing, man?
Hey, there you are. That's super hella feedback. Awesome.
Oh,
This is
sorry.
going so smooth.
I'm talking slow.
I am
Sorry,
really annoyed.
I was in the middle of a conversation with Michelle, and then I answered your call
Oh,
back and just fell right in the middle of the conversation. Sorry, I was in the middle of a conversation.
gonna try to add Doc.
Yeah, this is our first time adding a couple people through Skype. We're using new software and stuff, so bear with us. But we do want to talk a little bit today about the tax cut bill, which they're calling the Tax Cut Reform and Jobs Act or some such thing.
The fuck everybody in the ass plan.
Yeah, and it's pretty ugly. So I don't know. We're in a really interesting time in politics right now. It seems like the Republican control in our government is very precarious right now because the 2018 elections are coming and they are rushing to do anything that they can do. And New Day in one of our chats today shared with me a really interesting timeline of 2018. The congressional schedule is out, so they're spending more time working next year. Shock and awe, I know. Don't everybody have a heart attack.
Can you ever trust anything that they ever do anyways? I don't know if it'd be any better with any other tax bill that's ever been passed. It just seems like more shock and awe for, I don't know, worse things that are happening that continue to happen all the time. Neglect for the homeless and neglect for healthcare, neglect for just average day-to-day well-being for people is being neglected.
You know,
But
Red, one of the things I thought was really peculiar, not ha-ha funny, but funny, was the fact that this man got elected basically because he was promising all these jobs through infrastructure. And I feel like if they were smart, they would have started with that, right? Because that really is America first.
His job plan, though, also was taken away from, like, not like, it didn't seem like a very progressive job plan, because instead of, like, trying to add more natural resources or renewable resources, he was trying to go back to coal mining, and he was trying to go back to olden time freaking, his thought pattern seemed to be going backwards instead of forwards. And,
I know.
The way he was trying to pass things. So
And
I don't know if he thought that was all good and well in the first place.
I just think it's misleading, honestly, because those jobs aren't coming back. Regardless of whether or not those coal mines open up again, and they might, you know, underneath these new unrestricted guidelines from the EPA and whatnot, and the new
fracking, opening up more pipelines, all that.
But here's the thing, Red.
Opening up recreation, EPA regulations that were set in place to limit a lot of really bad things, and he just was disregarding all of that. And merely for profit, it seems.
And I think one of the other points is, even if the coal mining industry does come back, those jobs are going to be done mostly by machines. So there's that, and I think that people don't realize that. I think if we were smart, we would take those folks and retrain them in renewable energy or coding or something that they can do in the future. But I don't know.
Exactly. It's not like people are going to be losing jobs. That you can take these jobs and take these same people and put them into a job with a renewable resource that doesn't be a new industry that is progressive instead of being regressive with working with a finite material.
Yeah, right, like coal.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I remember very vividly one night I was with my boyfriend in Pound, Virginia, and we was driving around because we like to drive around, you know. It's kind of what you do when you're a country bumpkin. We was driving around, and we ended up in West Virginia for a minute, and we were up in the coal mining mountains, and the road fucking ended, just woof, you know. We're in the dark, we're driving around, the road literally stops, and if the guy driving hadn't seen that, we would have just driven right off the freaking mountain and just killed ourselves. No, like, hey, this road ends here. They just blew up the mountain, and it was just gone. It was unreal. It was really scary, and it was just something that really stuck with me for my entire life, is the fact that they can just blow up an entire mountain. I recently read a really good book about this whole, like, it's a fictionalized book, but it was all about this whole kind of people trying to save their hollers and hills in Kentucky and in Tennessee and Georgia and in West Virginia, which is where a lot of the coal mining is done. But, you know, there are industries that are burgeoning that they could be retrained for, but it's just that kind of excitement for the base and that resurrection of our strong, proud heritage, you know. I don't want anybody to have to be a miner and get black lung, you know. I don't want anybody to die like those miners did not too long ago when the mines exploded here in the States and in South America. I mean, there was...
Well, especially when you know that there's a way to be able to provide the same product or the same type of resource, but renewable in a safe and healthy way, without having to risk the lives of people. And they could take those same people and put them into those jobs, but they just refuse to do it.
Yep.
Oh, there's another voice. What are you doing?
Hey, trying to
boy?
drive this train.
Where's Doc at?
He's trying to
I
figure
don't
out
know.
Skype, because this is our first time working with Skype, with Doc and with you, and we kind of just did this at the last minute because that's how we do things, because we rock. But I think that live radio always should be this challenging.
Is Doc on a computer? Or?
Yes, and
okay.
he says he has a mic too, but he may need to change his input on the mic, because that's how Skype works. You can't just plug it in. You have to go into your recording devices and make sure you're in the right mic.
Fucking Skype.
Skype is an interesting tool that takes over all of your recording and your sounds of your computer. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Red. I think that it's sad in so many ways too, because it gives these people false hope. And that makes me it breaks my heart, because those are good, hardworking people. I lived in that region, for a really long time. And they don't want anything but a paycheck. They want to have steady work. And in some of those counties in West Virginia and in Southern Virginia and in Kentucky, not only do they have this challenge of no jobs because the coal industry has died, or other paper industries have died, or other industries have died, but they also are faced with this overwhelming opiate epidemic, because a lot of those miners were hurt, and a lot of those people do physical labor, which is really difficult and very hard, and it's very hard on your body. And when you're a man who does nothing but just work his ass off literally from dawn to dusk every day, you end up with some back problems, with some shoulder problems, with some knee problems. And if you start
the opiate epidemic is nationwide, and it's systemic because it's supplied by the pharmaceutical companies and pushed by the doctors, and it has been for a long time. And it's been going on like that because it's easy money and it's addictive. So they're able to legally prescribe this shit, and you get addicts, and eventually, when you get addicts that lose their jobs and can't work anymore, they turn to other things like going to the street and getting street drugs or buying pills off the street hustlers, whatever.
And most of the overdoses, I'd like to clarify this, and this wasn't really on the agenda for tonight, but most of the overdoses are this fentanyl that's been coming in from places like China. That's dirty fentanyl, and it's bad shit, and people really have been wanting fentanyl a lot, and that's the killer, is fentanyl. It's not like a lot. There are people who overdose on things like Norco or OxyContin or Percocets or things.
It happens quite a bit.
But most of the overdoses recently that I have been hearing about, a lot of the fire departments and EMTs and those people are saying fentanyl and heroin are our problems right now. Those are the big things.
That's because they're way cheaper. You can get them so much cheaper than, one pill of OxyContin can go up for like $80.
It depends on where you are.
You can heroin for like 25 to 35. I mean,
so it's simple math. It is, because you're basically, when you're taking an OxyContin or a Norco, which is hydrocodone, or Percocet or Vicodin or any of those, you're basically taking heroin cut with Tylenol. I mean, that's the long and the short.
I don't know what it is, but no, like Norco's, yes. But I'm like, what's the oxycodone is pretty much pure. That stuff is pretty.
Yeah,
that's like they call hillbilly heroin.
That's some gnarly shit. So, it's just, I want to do a whole show on this at some point, because I am a chronic pain patient and I can manage my drug use and use them in a way that other people don't. I don't go to the street when I run out anymore. I used to, because I used to be a lot more dependent on them, and I've made a lot of changes, and a lot of that involves cannabis, and I think we should definitely do a show about opiates and cannabis and like the benefits of using cannabis and how it can help you get off opiates, not only decrease your use, but help you with the withdrawal symptoms, etc. So, and manage your pain.
I've also been using kratom. If you don't know about kratom, kratom is a natural herb that is, I don't know the original. I think it's like a Asian origin somewhere around, like, I'm not sure, but anyways, it hits the same receptors as a lot of opiates. So it's a very light stimulant, and probably like no different than like coffee would be, but it hits your opiate receptors. So a lot of people that have heroin addictions or opiate addictions use kratom to help come down off of it, or to get themselves off of that and replace it in a natural way. And the government recently has been cracking down on kratom because it's taken away from their pharmaceutical company profits, because people aren't going to the clinics to get their methadone and whatever other drugs that they're trying to pass as a substitute.
Yeah, it's sad that they're doing that. We have a couple comments. Going back to the coal mining conversation we were having, we've got Hella 87.7 FM in the chat, by the way, which is a local radio station here in town. And he says the miners have been offered free career training but are refusing because of blind faith in Cheeto Jesus. And that is something that is true, because they have been promised this by someone they believe in. Whether like, disregard our feelings for the person who runs the country right now. Like, disregard our feelings. These people believe in him. You know, he is their hope and change, right? And they're hoping that those jobs are coming back. Those people are literally sitting around waiting for these jobs to come back. And they're not going to. And another comment came in through Skype saying that there are 4 kinds of coal that are mined in the U.S., in fact. So I love this awesome fact-checking team. We have New Day in the chat, and Beard, and everybody. Thank you so much, you guys. It's great to have you guys here. We're
I have
really...
a question then. Do we still need coal, though? Do you actually still think we need coal to run this country, or to run anything anymore? Do we have the resources and the knowledge and technology to be able to progress ourselves beyond fossil fuels?
Yes, we do, but the problem is, you know, the petrodollar and all the politics involved in oil and all the money involved in it, and all the people who currently are in high positions of power in the government who have stakes in oil, like, I don't know, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, who is the CEO of, what was that company? It's a small company. You may know it.
Exxon? That's
Mobil?
the one. Exxon.
Yeah. So, you know, that's interesting to me, how we're just all allowing this to happen. This tax cut thing is unbelievably disgusting. What they have done is a Republican's wet dream. Paul Ryan is the happiest little shit on the planet right now, because his little monkey ass got his little tax cut through, which means that his buddies... Okay, so what I heard today, too, and I forgot the source, forgive me, I will look it up in a minute, was, and it may have been through New Day, as a matter of fact, was that the lobbyist basically said, if you don't pass this tax bill, we aren't going to fund you anymore. So if you don't get this shit done, it's over for you. No more money. So they basically had to pass this tax bill, not only for the orange Cheeto in power to keep in power and to proclaim victory about something, the great Christmas present for the middle class of America, but also the fact that the funding of the Republican Party was in jeopardy if the tax bill didn't get cut, from what I have been hearing around the campfire. And I can't tell you the ins and outs of this tax scam because I'm not a CPA. I'm not a lawyer. it was rushed through. And one of the things I found so hypocritical was Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and all of these fiscal conservatives voting in not only something that's going to add $1.5 trillion to the debt, their precious debt that they keep blathering on about, the debt, but not only that, but something else that I forgot because I had a senior moment. How do you like that?
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you much about the tax plan because I hadn't researched it that much before the show. So everything I have to say is just personal opinion. But knowing the people that wrote it, I'm pretty sure I probably won't like it very much.
No, you won't. It's ugly. It's really ugly. As a matter of fact, I saw the heiress to the Disney Empire do a video.
Real Disney princess?
Really, a real Disney princess. And she introduces herself, and she tells you who she is, and then she says, "This tax bill is going to give me an amazing cut. Do you think I need that? Do you really think that I need this tax cut? And all my friends who have private jets, guess what? They're getting a tax cut too. Guess what? I can now leave more than $20 million to my kids tax-free."
Hey, all my friends that own hotels and shit, they get a tax cut too.
And she says all this stuff because she's against the goddamn tax bill, and she's a freaking billionaire. She's the heir to the Disney damn kingdom, which is this massive thing, right? So if you've got millionaires and billionaires coming out and speaking out against this, it's gotta be ugly, I think, in my opinion, Red.
This older generation that's doing this needs to stop one way or another, I think. You know, it seems like the younger people are more, I don't know, in tune with fairness and acceptance and, you know, all the happy, fluffy, fun stuff that we enjoy all the time.
They are.
I don't know. It's an interesting train of thought because, you know, you have that generation that, you know, believes in hard work, ethics, and, you know, you get what you work for type of idea. But then you have you do have that entitlement like issue with some people these days that just feel like they deserve everything for free, or everything should be just given to them. But then you have another type of people that think that everybody, I don't know, like, could maybe just all just get along and just be somehow equal and like nobody's better than anybody else. But that doesn't ever work with people because people are entitled pieces of shit most of the time.
There's so much ego.
And selfish, arrogant assholes. So it's hard to get people to work together on a large level.
This is very true. And once, this is something I did want to talk about a little bit. Once a movement does become effective, you will see infiltrators from wherever. I am going to just postulate that it's the government because they don't like the fact that movements are getting big and being effective. Because you can sit and bitch on your own all you like. But once you organize people and are bitching together, that's when the problem starts, right? So, I am just seeing so much bullshit going on in this country right now. We're banning words. We're
so fucked up.
We're banning words. What is that?
Doc would like to say that, you know, the Cheeto King fucking killed the individual mandate for insurance, and he thinks that is killing Obamacare. So I think he's trying to say that he's taking that as a win. Also,
why can't I see any typing?
Huh?
Because he's getting a private message from Doc.
Oh no, it's in our call chat.
Oh, is it in our call chat? Okay.
You're not on the call, baby.
I'm not on the call, so I can't see it. Yeah. And Doc says, yes, he thinks it's a win. Here's the thing. The Republicans are literally shooting themselves in the foot because this tax bill and every other bill they've tried to pass this year have been so incredibly unpopular with their constituents. I have never seen protest like I've seen this year. I am very proud of American people for standing up to power. And, you know, we've seen cops cart off people in wheelchairs at Congress, for God's sake, because they don't want this tax bill to be passed. So it's, you know, we're not talking Antifa. We're not talking black bloc tactics here. We're talking little old ladies in wheelchairs and disabled people in wheelchairs and people with canes and walkers saying, kill the bill, don't kill us. And these people still pass it. I mean, this is how much they don't give a fuck about you.
Not one.
And what I'm trying to drive home to everybody is Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. They're the same thing. They're all bought and paid for by lobbyists. And so yesterday, Rosie O'Donnell, or maybe the day before, Rosie O'Donnell tweeted to two of the senators who were kind of on the fence about the tax bill and offered them $2 million cash each to say no on the bill. And everybody lost their minds because money doesn't belong in politics. Well, then explain this lobbyist system to me. Yeah. What's the difference between what she did and what the lobbyists on K Street, which is in D.C., are doing to the government? From what I understand about the tax bill, from what Elizabeth Warren and some other Democrats said, and again, not a fan of the Democrats, they all said that they received a list of stipulations directly from the lobbyists that needed to be included in the tax bill. Directly from the lobbyists. Fuck. Now, if that's not money in politics, I don't know what is.
That's just plain fuckery.
It's just...
Yeah, there's really no difference. Lobbyists are pretty much just paid people that are paid to help change laws for people of interest or people, you know, corporations that have interest in certain laws needing to be passed.
Right, they need to roll back a regulation so they can do some more toxic dumping in a small town. Which, by the way, as I've been watching these videos that are, I think everybody should watch. It's called Democracy School by CLDF, which is a very cool organization that everyone should follow. These guys are serious, and they will teach you about all the things you don't know about how our government works. Like, if a big company decides that it wants to move into your little hometown, build a toxic chemical plant or a giant pig farm that's going to destroy your waterways or whatever, you can protest all you like, but you can't do anything about it because that's the way the laws are written. There's an old law on the books from the 1800s that says corporations have the right to do this, right?
Eminent domain's real. People, the government will come in and they will take your land from you and give you less than market value for what it's worth. This is even worse than eminent domain.
This is actual corporations coming into municipalities and doing whatever the motherfuck they want. And the people in town have literally no say because of this old law on the books. Everybody should watch Democracy School. It's kind of hard to find on YouTube, but it's there. It's CLDF. Follow them. They're amazing. They're like a grassroots environmental defense fund. There's lawyers. They know their shit. They're intelligent. They're really well informed. And they have taught me so much that I never knew. And I have a bachelor's degree, man. I'm a pretty educated person. I read and learn all the time, but there are so many things that I did not know about our own democracy that blew my mind, honestly, that I learned through Democracy School. So if they also do it live in places. So if you ever hear of Democracy School, go. It's valuable. It's super, super valuable. And the lessons are long, but they're fascinating. So I suggest everybody go check out Democracy School.
I might have to check that out.
I'm actually going to post this link in our chat here on YouTube because I don't think...
Have you ever heard of Oaksterdam?
I think so. I was just going to say one thing real quick. I don't know if all of Democracy School is on YouTube, but there is a link that I just posted, and I'll tweet it as well. CELDF, sorry. CELDF, my bad. Thanks, New Day. I get excited.
Oaksterdam.
What's Oaksterdam?
Oaksterdam is the very first cannabis
college. Oaksterdam. Yeah, I thought you said Oster.
In Oakland, California, that was ever opened and legal. And you can go there and learn everything from seed to sale in the industry.
Okay, sorry guys.
It's a very interesting school, but
yeah, and they have like the pot history place and all that cool shit. I thought you said Oster, like Oster.
Oaksterdam.
Not Oakster, like Oakland, Oaksterdam. Yeah, no, I know about that place. It's really cool. So the place I was actually talking about is Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund, or CELDF. They do have a channel on YouTube. I don't think there's a lot of Democracy School on there, but I am tweeting this and I put it in the chat on YouTube. So if people want to watch the Democracy School thing, you really should. It's amazing. It will teach you things that you just didn't know and should have. You know what I mean? Like how little rights we have as citizens, as a matter of fact. Like, it's for real. Corporations have so many rights, and human beings individually have so very little.
I was just actually talking about that a little bit with you earlier today. I was talking about a little off topic again, but how corporations are trying to take over small businesses and take over activists that have been working for certain litigation for many years against a strong opposition. And Mark Emery and Jody had to go to court again recently for more cannabis charges.
You should explain who they are real quick, because not a lot of people know.
Mark Emery has been considered, he's considered the Prince of Pot. He owned cannabis culture. He was one of the biggest seed distributors for cannabis in the world for a long time out of Canada. And he got busted selling seeds across the state line, or across the United States lines, and he got put into federal prison for 5 years. But now that he's back up in Canada, he's running his business up there, and he has multiple supposedly legal outlets, dispensaries that they're able to sell out of, but they were getting cracked down on because of gray area rules. And like, I don't know the right terminology. But you know how like California has all the weird rules that change all the time because they're in the middle of, the rules are changing all the time because they don't have everything written and they're constantly revising things. So nobody knows exactly how to do anything. So they made these two people targets basically, and they put them through the ringer. And they just got busted again with another like 20 people. All their everybody that works with them and for them got taken to jail as well on over 180 different charges, and they were facing years and years in prison. So instead of trying to fight this in court, because it would have taken years and God knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions. They decided to take a plea deal, and Jody and Mark Emery took this plea deal of two different things, which requires them to have to pay over $200,000 in fines in 2 years, or if they don't pay it off, they have to do 4.5 years in prison. And then they also are not, they also are on 2 years probation, and they are not allowed to be a part of their business anymore. They cannot be a part of the company that they built themselves. But in taking that plea deal, the other 17 people that were charged with 180 something different charges were completely let off. So there really is no question, like, when you're put in that situation, and what do? You can't, the system's made to mess you up. And then now these people that have been fighting for this and activists for so long, the same people that have been fighting against them are buying their companies out and buying into the industry and now making profit off of it.
Wow, I'm so shocked.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen this time and time again. It's another tactic that they use. You know, and first what they do is destroy character by any sort of bust or, you know, arrest or anything like that. The news gets a hold of it. They're a person of interest, like the Emerys are, so that gets nationalized and viralized and whatnot, and then it becomes some sensationalized thing. We see it happen time and time again, and it's like they find a scapegoat, they take their part of life, their life apart, sorry, that didn't work out. Woo, lordy. They take their life apart, they tear them down, they give them these unreasonable fines, these unreasonable restrictions, and then, by the way, when they're on probation, those restrictions will keep changing constantly because they want you to go to jail because they make so much money off of you when you are part of the slave labor program in prison.
These are punishments that are not fitting of the crime.
And that happens with almost every crime.
If there was ever a crime in this situation, I don't see any crime. There was never any crime committed except by outdated law books that are unsound and unbiased. I don't know.
They're biased and they're unwanted by the people is what I think you know, I know you know that.
30% of her fine was for victim rehabilitation. There is no victims in consensual crimes.
Right? Here's a quote from Beard in the chat. He calls it the just us system, not the justice system, and I think that's fantastic. The just us system is set up like playing poker with a rich man. No matter how good your hand is, he keeps upping the bet until you're totally broke. They cannot lose.
That's pretty much right.
That's perfect analogy right there, you guys. Thank you, Beard. That's an amazing analogy because it's so very true. Like, what happens, and we were talking earlier, Red, and I said the same thing with reference to the case we're just discussing, the Prince of Pot and his wife being charged with ridiculous nonsense. I said that so many people I know have had to sell their homes and their cars and just everything they own in order to fight a case, and eventually they'll plea out. No matter if, and 90% of the time, they're not guilty of that crime, or the crime was just like possession of pot, and they'll tag on possession of pot with intent to distribute, possession of, you know, felony this, and they'll put paraphernalia, and they'll do all these other things and tag on all these other charges, which makes it completely overwhelming. They add all these dumb charges and give you, like, potentially 30 years for a joint, you know? And you eventually plead to whatever they charge you with, because that's the only way to go in, spend just a couple years in this hellhole, get out, and finish your life. Otherwise, you're dragged through the system, you're broke, completely broke by the time you get even maybe a quarter of the way through your legal troubles. You've already sold your home, you've already sold your savings, you know, you've turned in your 401k if you had one, you've sold your cars, you've done GoFundMes, you've tried pro bono lawyers, everything, right? And then eventually you run out of money. But they will never run out of money. Ever, ever. So they just keep coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. And eventually, most people plea because it's the sensible thing to do. So now you come out, you have a guilty plea on your, you know, a felony charge for having a joint in your fucking ashtray while you run to the store and your driver's or your registration is expired or something because you haven't had time to smog your car, you know, because you work too much.
Even worse than that, you could start out just getting pulled over for something minor.
Right, speeding or not wearing your seatbelt or
why,
something.
And then going in, and then getting some bogus charge in jail, and then you don't get out for months, and then you could get something else while you're in jail, and just trying to protect yourself.
Oh yeah, no, they're gonna tow your car. You know, they'll put you in jail, and then they have to tow your car and store it, and then they fucking rape you for that shit.
Oh yeah, there's that part too, and you're right, Red. You're totally right.
The whole system is rigged as a downward spiral, so that way it's hard to get out of it. Yeah, because the only way that the system works is if they continue to make money and keep putting people into it. So once you get into the system, they don't want you to get out of it.
That's what Red said earlier. He said once you get into this system, it is so hard to get out because you have to have money in order to get out. And if you're on probation and you do anything wrong, just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know, hanging out with the wrong friend, whatever.
I was telling you, I barely left my house for 3 years when I was on probation.
I know, and I drove, honestly, y'all, I drove this man around for a couple years because I care about him, and he was smart enough to not drive around because he did not want to go to jail. You know, and I see so many people break that and say, fuck that, I'm going to do what I want and drive my car, and immediately they get busted for driving on a suspended license, and that adds more time to your probation, and you get your license revoked. You know, it's just bad news altogether. So, I mean, that must have been incredibly difficult for you. And frustrating, because I hate this. Like, just today, I don't have my car because I'm actually broadcasting from my convalescing bed because I hurt myself at work 2 days ago, and I couldn't drive myself home because I hurt myself that bad.
You didn't hurt yourself, you ate shit.
I ate shit. The chair that I was on fell out from under me. It was really unfair. So, where was I going with this? I don't remember where I was going with this. I really don't.
You were convalescing.
Yes, I'm just saying that I'm broadcasting from my convalescing part. What was I saying before that, though?
Jesus God,
I don't know. I don't remember.
That's awesome.
I am so old. I am the oldest person here, and I have senior moments, y'all. So, my friend New Day has coined this term granarchist, which I adore, and that's me right there. I'm totally a granarchist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excuse me.
No. I will not, sir.
I'm really sorry we couldn't get Doc on. Doc, I know you're listening and we love you, man. We need your fire. But we are just starting the show out and we're sorting out difficulties and how to use new software and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't usually talk about technical things on the air, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm sad that Doc wasn't with us today. Because I know he wanted to. He's in Skype.
Like cinnamon and nutmeg.
What?
Man,
What? Red? What?
our place smells like cinnamon and nutmeg, and there's like little elves down in the kitchen cooking up some fucking goodies for fucking Christmas. It's amazing right now.
Will you shut up? I'm starving.
It smells delicious.
So, oh, by the way, in that vein, happy solstice, happy winter solstice, everyone. Don't forget to say thank you to the sun tomorrow morning, because she's now going to be returning back to us slowly, and the warmth and the light will be returning to us slowly. Tonight is the longest, darkest night of the year, and I plan to make good use of it, because I'm a witch, and that's the way I roll. About to do some ceremony.
Now it's supposed to get brighter again.
What?
Yeah. Now it's supposed to get brighter again every day.
Yep.
Just a little bit brighter.
And tomorrow is Gaelic Yule, so if you do celebrate Gaelic Yule, Merry Yule to you tomorrow. We will be celebrating with our family, I know. It's going to be exciting. So there's that. I wanted to say that to everybody. You know, I'm going to be lighting some candles tonight because
Are you eating goat?
Maybe, I don't know. Dad's making a lot of food, and sometimes we do eat goat because we do have a lot of goats. But, I wanted to say that the winter solstice, because it's the longest, darkest night of the year, traditionally Gaelic Celts would light lots of candles, have bonfires, have lots of light, because it is kind of a celebration of lights. It's almost like Hanukkah, but just for one night. So it's a celebration of lights tonight, and then tomorrow we welcome the sun back with a ceremony that's also another ceremony of lights with candles and whatnot. So, I'm excited about that, because I'm a mixed blood indigenous person. I look like a native person, but my dad's Irish and he's pagan, Gaelic.
I'm just a regular person.
So, I celebrate both sides of my heritage, and I do enjoy both sides of my heritage, and I think the, pagan Irish traditions are pretty freaking-tastic, and I like them a lot. They're very much...
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just a regular person.
I know you are.
You're not regular.
I know you are. What the funny thing is, y'all, if Red was here and not, like, traversing the earth, I would drag him into our ritual, and he would just have to deal with it. So there's that.
I can fall into rituals real quickly.
I know you can. So, another thing I wanted to kind of, since Bad's back, I wanted to remind everybody, we're hoping to do some standalone videos of each of us talking about some of the issues that we find near and dear to our heart. So look for those in the coming week or so on our YouTube channel, which is small, but will be growing, hopefully. I hope that you guys share. And if you have any questions for us, leave any questions on we have a Facebook page. It's called The Kitchen Sinks Thursdays, live at 8 p.m. So you can find that on Facebook. We do not have a Twitter yet, but we will soon. And you can always leave comments on the videos that we do that aren't really videos. That's also going to change. We're going to be doing some more of that kind of stuff, but as we learn, we go as we learn.
Yep. Much work still to do.
And we really missed this show. I'm really glad to have it back, you guys. It's nice to be back.
We need more bing bing bong bong boom bing bong.
I know, we need gonna make a soundboard and stuff, but and I really appreciate you staying up so late, Red. I know it's late where you are in a different time zone and whatnot.
Oh, no worries. All good. I'm usually up anyways. I'm happy to be able to join in. This is fun.
It's been a while.
And it's not
Good
like
time.
it's not Sundays at 4 in the afternoon, so we're not not awake yet, dude. We're totally awake. It's so cool.
I like it a lot. I think I'm gonna like it even more next Thursday when Michelle is not working.
All right.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. Michelle is another voice that we would love to have join the conversation because she is a well-educated, well-traveled, amazingly brilliant, beautiful human soul that I adore, and I would love to have her 2 cents on any of these issues because I know she's got fiery opinion. I love it. I love it.
Quite, madam.
And what else is happening?
Well, let's see here. I've polished my drums into a sheen that you could see a baby's bottom in.
Okay, so you know what's going to happen now. I'm going to make a soundbite for you to give us drum updates every single week. That's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Get fucking Signal, dude, and just record memos and send them to me.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm going to say, and here's Red with his drum update. Boom.
The skin's so tight you could bounce a quarter off of them.
Well,
that doesn't even make that. That's how it should be, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm glad you have some drums, you lunatic. And yes, we're gonna do that's going to apparently be a reoccurring segment. Red's drum update. He plays like Animal from the Muppets.
Maybe I'll do a soundbite.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll have some fun. We'll have some fun with
have
it.
These tuned up really nice. Actually, they sound amazing. Like, I'm really happy with them.
Well, then you're gonna need to let us know how they sound. That's just really gonna, that's gonna have to happen. I think we've only got about 5 minutes left. I know it's only an hour, but that's kind of how our old show was, and I think that's kind of where we're gonna stay because short and sweet and to the point, babies.
All right. Well, it sounds good. I can't stay for too much more for right now.
I would like to also say hello to Jerry. Hello, Jerry. How is it going? Thank you for listening to The Kitchen Sink. It is fantastic to have you here, Jerry. You rock and you roll. So, everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much. It's amazing, the community we have. I just want to give a shout out to our community because you may not see a lot of people chatting on the YouTube channel, and I hope that changes soon, but there are a lot of people we have in a lot of different chats that really help us out with sound issues and letting us know, when there's a problem that we can't hear because we're live. So thank you everybody for listening and joining in and sharing the links and whatnot. And it's just basically going to be pretty much...
Where's the YouTube channel?
It's the Kitchen Sink.
The YouTube channel.
It's the Kitchen Sink. It's called the Kitchen Sink.
Google it.
And it's actually, I've been posting links everywhere. The picture is a bunch of televisions, and it says there is a war on for your mind. So that's our Avi. Check for that. We only have like 13 followers, so this is not gonna be like, and again, look for more content. We've got skits and things that we're gonna be adding that Red and I have been acting together for a long time and doing news together for a long time. And Bad has always been our tech person, even though we've tried to drag him into acting so many times. It
happens from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do live stuff. I don't like the camera.
We have fun, so hopefully we'll be able to get... Red and I have a very special lovebirds named Steve and Tracy who are very eloquent.
I think they're too close to our who we could be if we were just slightly More like our relatives.
Yeah, for sure. They're very eloquent. They're very elegant. They're very kind to one another. The only problem is that Tracy really doesn't understand math, and she spells her name with 3 I's instead of a Y or an IE or anything like that. It's 3 I's. So that's Steve and Tracy Arberger with an H. It's silent.
French.
An apostrophe. It's French. We're from Aristocrats, so look for them soon. They're beautiful. They're beautiful people. They're good people. Steve and Tracy. Red and I also did some other videos that we're very proud of that will probably pop up on the channel. Some cooking shows that we did, making organic green cookies that had nothing to do with cannabis whatsoever. I
No.
promise.
No, nothing.
Oh, those were grass-fed cows.
Mm-hmm. The milk and the butter was green. They're so organic, that's why.
Super
That's
organic.
exactly
Super
right.
organic cows, bro. You gotta have a super organic cow from time to time.
Yeah. Vegan cow.
We should go out on the new intro promo.
All right. Well, it looks like it's 8:59.
Yes, sir. It's
The
time
other
for us to
one?
go.
Time.
Yeah. The cool one.
Call it a full hour, and here we are.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening, and hopefully we'll see you next week, barring catastrophe. Hopefully I will, be able to navigate chairs for the next couple of days. I'm not sure about that because they are my arch enemy right now. I have a mild concussion because of one. I'm just going to say. And so it's great that I can do this show from the comfort of my bed. This is ridiculous, you guys. I really am so annoyed by this. I fell off of a goddamn chair. How does that even happen? Who does that? Who falls off chairs? Sober, by the way, dead sober. I'm totally sober. I don't drink.
Aristocrats.
I am an amazing person. My middle name is Grace. And with that, I bid you adieu and good night and see you, which means be strong in my native language because saying goodbye is too final.
Alright, I guess we're gonna try to play this thing.
Good night and good luck. See you next Thursday, y'all.
The kitchen sink. With gear.
There was just kittens and fucking puppies and rainbows and bunnies. Bad.
How can you edit out a Pegasus?
Red.
I like unicorns.
And Doc.
Loose cannon! What have you got yourself into, man?
Everything.
And the kitchen sink.
Just sitting around freaking hanging out.
It's kind of like the Newsweek.
There's not much going on in the news.
It was just, the news was just kind of hanging out.
I've thought that the president being investigated by the FBI was kind of normal. That's happened before, hasn't it?
It has.
That's happened before,
that makes
right?
it normal. Yeah, that happened before.
The kitchen sink.
Thursdays at 8 p.m.